What's up, everybody? Today we're gonna do a session with Brian. He's been with us for many years at this point. He was unable to do what he wanted to do because of back pain, but he's been working with us in the system for a long time, and really the credit's all to him because he goes home and stretches and lives this lifestyle. And so now he comes in once a week and we just kind of tune him up. So tonight we're gonna be working on some hip extension work, some capsule in the hip, as well as some hamstring stuff, both working the hamstring at length and also working it in the shortened position. And then we'll finish off with some dynamic effort inputs, which will help him for running. So let's go. All right, Ryan, so here we're gonna focus on tonight, man. We're gonna use the sandbag, have you go into that half kneeling position. We're using the blocks as well as a great way to just be able to post up, and you can change that angle. Go ahead and when you get in this position, just try to find the best capsule stretch you can. Imagine that like you're trying to open the top of a jar. So take that pelvis and rotate it towards me. At the same time, you're gonna keep that femur stable, so you're just rotating against the force of the femur. Had you play around a little bit with that pelvic area to see pretty much like what kind of angle you like for yourself?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I tend to default into hiking on the offside.
Yeah, okay. And where do you feel that?
Like right here.
Right in the back? Perfect, that's what we want for this. And a little bit in that kind of sit bone?
Yeah.
Perfect. So just kind of melt into that stretch. We'll be here for like another 30 seconds or so. And while you're there, think about trying to increase gravity right into your hip. So through your exhales, you're just gonna melt into the bottom of that stretch. Imagine now that this pad, right, is a scale. And with the scale, you're gonna start to press weight into that. As you do that, contract the tissue that's being stretched. Perfect. Let's have you work about a 60% effort. Great job, maintain that. Now reverse and rail, so we're just gonna do a nice warm-up set of isometrics here. Keep that intention. Where do you feel that regressive tissue?
Like outer butt cheek.
Yep. Right where your hand is?
Yeah.
Perfect. Good. Now slowly let that go. Melt into the stretch a little bit more. We're gonna go for a near all-out effort, okay? I'm also gonna give you some assistance trying to peel your ankle away from your bag here. So start your palest contraction. Good. Keep working. Build up. And when you're ready, I want you to hit the gas and squeeze and go. Good, that's it. Yep, don't let me peel you away. I'm trying to divorce you from the bag, resist. Awesome, keep going, keep going. 3, 2, 1, and rails. He's pushing really hard. Squeeze, good. Same effort, try to rotate away, get more internal rotation, hold. 3, 2, 1, slowly let that go. Melt into that a little bit further. How'd that contraction feel?
Good.
Pretty good.
Inner ass was feeling it right there.
All right, that's what we want. Get yourself a couple hip cars. We'll station the pelvis here, right? So when you go to do your hip car, you're no longer getting into any kind of accessory motion from here. Now, as you come into extension, right, try to imagine that the bag is still there, right? Because we're trying to work that one part of the capsule where we have extension with rotation, and then reverse out of it. Good, and then come back. And think of it like, because we're always trying to relate this back to your running, right? When you go back, try to create that workspace in extension. So squeeze with hip extension, as well as keep the IR. There you go. And just keep exploring there for a little bit on your own if you want. Last one.
Get a little high ham.
You get some high ham there?
Yeah.
Right through here? Yep. So the reason that he'd be getting some more higher hamstring is because he's in that hip extension, plus he's maintaining good knee flexion. And at the mechanical advantage you have, you're gonna really put that force up in the higher hamstring, which is harder to get, right? Yeah. It's kind of like hidden ham.
I got less tension through the knee, more funneled through the hip.
Yeah. And you've had, is that the knee side you've had some, there's the other knee?
It's been this one recently, but it goes back and forth.
That's running, man, yeah. So if we can get a little bit more capsule space in the hip, as well as getting more of that kind of activation and training stimulus to the hamstring, generally that can help alleviate some of the knee stuff, which you've experienced too.
Yeah, gives you more space to move through.
Let's rinse and repeat on the other hip. So people ask, this is actually a 100-pound sandbag. Definitely one of the best pieces of equipment we have, because it's also really, it's heavy and it's a little soft, so it can kind of form. You have one at home too, right?
Yeah, you got me into it.
You
Yeah.
got into it, right?
Yeah.
So just a great piece of equipment. There's a lot of different uses for it. It's really just your imagination. That's kind of what helps us pick the equipment is how many different uses can you do? Because we don't have a lot of space here in our house.
If you're trying to max out spine cars, that's the way to go.
Yeah, that's a good one too, when you can squeeze and actually get through some spine cars. Take the top of the jar, right? Like you're trying to open a jar. The top is going to be your pelvis. Rotate around that hip. This feel any different between left and right? First side?
I get a little bit better stretch on my right hip. I guess it's probably more like right here.
Okay, a little higher up. As a coach too, I like to ask these questions, the open-ended, because it gets the person to really consider their anatomy, right? And it just makes the practice deeper because every session you do is going to be a little bit different, right? Your body is different from day to day, from minute to minute. So it's good to kind of think, all right, where am I feeling it now? Is this different? Is it better? Is it worse? And how does it compare maybe to the other side if you're doing one joint versus the other side? So same thing here as you kind of wash away and melt. Allow that stretch to just kind of roll into itself. Start a Pale's contraction first. Again, we're going to work to about a 60 to 70% effort just as a warm up. So here we're trying to fire the open side of the joint, the stuff that's being stretched. And now go ahead and reverse, and we'll say rail. So he's actually going to fire the stuff that's more responsible for getting him into more internal rotation. And then slowly let that go. We're going to go for that kind of maximal effort. I'm going to give you a little bit more force to go through. Mia's coming here to check you out, make sure you're going to put out.
Sergeant Mia.
Sergeant Mia, Drill Sergeant Mia.
Yeah, you're Psycho Pete today.
Psycho Pete. So big inhale, exhale, start off light Pales because whatever you fire first, you tend to fire the most. So really make sure you get that progressive tissue. Digging into the bag, very good. Ramp up. I'm going to try to peel you away. Go ahead and hit the gas. Awesome. Nice, good effort, Ryan. Keep going, more. That's it. Come on, let's make a difference in that hip. Push for 3, 2, when you're ready, rails. So try to pull away, exactly. If I was gonna pull the bag away from here, could you maintain that position? There you go, hold. Go as long as you can, as maximal as you can. When you start to peter off, you're done. Get the stanky leg there. Good effort. I'll ask you again, did you feel like you hit that set or do you have another one in you?
No, I thought it was a good set.
Good set?
Yeah.
Okay. Perfect. So what we're trying to do is those maximal efforts in his hip capsule. When I mean maximal effort, by the way, you can see Ryan's already started sweating just from stretching and doing isometrics because he actually knows how to contract, right? So what a maximal effort for him is going to be that 9 out of 10 effort, 10 out of 10 effort. Like if he was trying to deadlift the heaviest weight he's ever lifted, he's going to put that kind of effort into the hip. We want to do that so we can start to open up that capsular space and also get his nervous system used to exploring that space and potentially giving him more range of motion. It's also a great way to prime the hip capsule for stuff we're going to do a little bit later, right? Because when we train, whether it's one-on-one or in our classes, we're always thinking about, can we train from the deepest to more superficial, right? Because your body learns itself from the inside out, and training should also be looked at as a learning session. You're trying to practice your body and make better outcomes. And the way you do that is with the stuff that makes the outcomes, right? The determinants. Try to explore that half range of extension. So yeah, with IR, good. Nice job on the pelvis. And then just keep maintaining that extension. Think about like you're trying to take your stride. Exactly, that's the space we want. Get one more or so like that, perfect. How'd that feel?
Good, I'm already cooking.
You're cooking. We're gonna change it up a little bit. We're gonna go right to some linear stuff first in that hip, okay? So I want you to go into hip extension, okay? You can use the box again as support, and the goal is to find a stretch somewhere in that anterior tissue, right? Okay. So now we went from kind of going capsular to more linear. I don't want him to dump into his lower back. So I want to think about like the pelvis as like almost like a soup bowl, and just kind of keeping that soup bowl a little bit tucked up. So the belt buckle should tuck up. For those of you into the anatomy, you would think of like a posterior tilt. And the way we want to do that is by tilting up, and that will kind of just keep the spine stable, but it also allows us to bow the stretch and find more of a target stretch in front of the hip. Mia wants you to hold on to something here for a second, you know, for the cause. Now, when you're ready, go ahead and start a Pale's contraction. So you're going to take that back knee and try to slam it forward. So you're trying to slide that knee forward. So now that all that tissue that's on stretch is contracting. So we're teaching that tissue to be strong at length. We're also potentially giving him more access to hip extension, which we want later for the training session as well as for his running. Go ahead and reverse that effort into a rails. So this time squeeze all of that back tissue. Hold. 3, 2, 1. All right, so our next goal here is I'm gonna place Ryan in knee flexion, and I'm gonna try to challenge him a little bit because what I want him to do is be able to squeeze the ball. What this will do is try to get more attention to that hamstring to squeeze. He may even cramp. We'll see if he does. And we're gonna hold this for about, we're gonna do several 10-second holds.
Shit,
okay?
I'm already close.
Okay, so he's already close. I want him to be productive first, so I'm actually gonna start him lower through here. So also think about kind of doing dorsiflexion, so you kind of take your calf out of it, okay? When you're ready, start to squeeze. I'm gonna let go, hold. 10 seconds, maintain. Good, 3, 2, 1, slowly let go. Squeeze and hold. I don't wanna see any motion in that lower back, right? Because that means we're using lower back to make up for hip extension, knee flexion. So you shouldn't feel like this or cramps at all, right? This is not working, and then let that go. No. Good, relax. He's doing really well. What you'll see people is they'll start to dip through here, they'll lean forward, it'll just be kind of shitty, right? We don't want that. We just want the spine to stay where it is and we can affect this tissue. Let's go up a little bit higher. Ready? Dorsiflex hard. Squeeze, hold. Good, don't drop that ball. Don't drop the ball, hold. You got it, you got it. Good, keep going, keep going. Nice, Ryan. Come on, 3, 2, 1, let that go. I'm gonna place you passively there. There you go. Ready? Squeeze and hold. Nice. Good, I like the shakes I'm getting here. I'm looking for him to be able to fail. Hold. Nice, dropping the ball, I love it. That's what we want, baby. Okay, so what we're doing here is trying to save that work, right? So we just worked a ton of hip extension and knee flexion with Ryan, right? In more of a isometric or static position. Now I want to take that and challenge that range and use it dynamically. So I'm asking him to maintain some of that hip extension, and now he's trying to use his knee car, and particularly the knee flexion, and control this through space. Nice. Last one, rotate. Good, while you're here with internal tibia, see if you can shorten this distance. Bring your heel to your butt. Good. Tuck this forward, drive this back. So now we're getting that pure hip extension. And if you look, this looks a lot like a running stance too. Part of gait is being able to sweep back, right? Take the road or the ground and sweep it behind you. Nice job. Let's switch sides. Now, do you feel a difference in one side versus the other as far as like access to hip extension or finding the stretch?
No, I mean, I generically struggle with the problem of being like tight in the TFL, kind of like you know, the pocket area of the hip.
On the right?
Or both, to be honest.
Okay.
So I get good flexion, like a good stretch through both, like any type of hip flex or
hip extension. Yeah, makes sense. Okay. I just put a pad here to give him some feedback. I want you to drive your knee through through the block, squeeze all that stuff on stretch, build up to a good 70-80% effort. We're gonna hold this about 20 seconds like we did last time. Try to find more access to that. Good, tension through here. If I was trying to pull you away, don't let me. Good. That's it, Ryan. Hold for 5, 4, 3, 2. This time reverse, rails. Take this stuff, pull it as far away from the front of the pad as you can, the front of the block. Squeeze this, hold. Oh my God, it feels like I'm gonna break my hand. It's like granite here. That's what we want. 3, 2, 1. Melt that contraction away. Awesome job. I want you to stay relaxed here when I put you passively versus trying to fight me a little bit. I know you just have a lot of tension around there, right? But try to stay as relaxed as you can. Then when I tell you to, cue it up, squeeze, okay? So just relax, exactly, that's what I want. Nice job. Okay, we're gonna start it easy here. I want you to start with success. All right, tension through here. Remember, we don't want to spill in that lower back. We want to target all of this stuff right here. Squeeze, I want to let go, hold. If this was a lemon, make some lemonade. 10 seconds. I can also add a little bit of a challenge, like I'm trying to pry his heel away from his butt, just to give him a little more effort, and then passively let that go. Nice job. I'm getting great effort here. I'm not seeing any kind of spill in the lower back, and then let that go. We got 2 more. Give me a little extra calf. So I'm gonna cue him, hey Brian, give me a little more dorsiflexion. Yeah, see if you can hold that the next set. Okay, but stay relaxed for a second. Put you there, keep the dorsiflexion and hold. Harder, right? Yeah, because now we can't get quite as much calf because it's not shortened. We have to get more hamstring. Take the hand here. If I want to, I'm just gently putting this down. Obviously, I could win if I really crank down. That's not the goal. The goal is just to challenge him for that time. Let that go. Good, relax. We have 1 more, man. 1 more. Here we go. Squeeze. Hold. That's it. Don't let me take the ball. Good, Ryan. Come on. That's it. Try to capture as much of that passive range as you can. Good. Come on. Cramp out. Nice. Come on. Good job. I will hit those knee cars. The same one you did. I like the setup you did here when you added that. Good. Get that rotation there through that knee flexion. He's doing a great job. Again, well trained. Not to brag about myself, but he's been here for a long enough time that he knows what I want, right? So it's more about him, but I'm not getting anything through here, right? He knows what to feel. The key with what we're trying to do here is we really want to be tissue specific. So the goal with that is to isolate as much as we can. So I can inflict as much load and stress into that tissue, which means I'm going to have a bigger response or adaptation when it recovers. If he's dumping through here or he's not getting as much knee flexion as he can, it's just going to be suboptimal as far as the training input. Great job. Go 1 more. Again, try to get more of that pure hip extension. Yep. While tucking that belt buckle up. Exactly. So it's this push and pull system. Good. Hold that. More knee extension, more hip extension. Yes, that. With the belt buckle, good. Hold, hold. Nice job, dude. We're going to focus a little bit on accessing some length because our goal is to actually work at length and do some over speed eccentrics. So we did hip capsule into more linear stuff with the hip. Yeah. We did some short hamstring stuff and prep the knee a little bit. Now let's do some long hamstring. So all I'm going to have you do, right here, and we'll just find that nice stretch passively through there, right there. And where do you feel that?
Like the belly of the ham.
Belly of the ham is what we want. Wasn't there a store called like, do you ever go to Heavenly Ham?
Yeah.
Heavenly Ham was great.
Yeah, they have one in Rockville, I think.
It's just a bunch of...
they're all over the place.
What was it? Like a bunch of deli meats?
Yeah,
stuff like
basically.
that? So Heavenly Ham is what we're looking for. Now, can you try to relax into that a little bit? So a little less shaking. One thing Ryan did really well is that he leveraged his pelvis and moved his pelvis away. It's like a shitty rep would be trying to like just use your back. You don't really feel a lot. You may even feel more behind the knee. But what Ryan did great is that he started from a nice tall spinal position and then he just took his pelvis and moved it away. That's how you find a great hamstring stretch. He's trying to shift that pelvis away from that heel. We're gonna just do a light set of isometrics here. So go ahead and take that heel, dig it into the pad, squeeze as much of that hamstring as you can. Start to bake that Heavenly Ham a little bit.
It was like a dead zone in the middle of my ham.
Okay, like you don't feel as much of a contraction?
Yeah, it's almost just like stiffness and just like weakness.
And while you're paling,
unfamiliarity.
You can also like give me some internal, external rotation to see if you can maybe encourage that dead zone to be a little bit more alive. If you find an angle you like, it's kind of like a lock and key mechanism, or like when you hear somebody that's trying to open up a safe, like they're looking for the right kind of angle and clicks, the same thing could happen there. Because eventually we're gonna do overspeed eccentric. Let's start off with a little bit slow and loaded eccentric, okay? So you know what we're doing here, right? So he's gonna keep a nice tall spine and he's gonna go as far down as he can and feel a stretch in the hip. And then he'll cheat back up so that he can come up, he can come down slower. So he's gonna go down again real slow. I don't care how slow he goes, I just care that he uses this as a way to weight the stretch. And then he'll come up a little quicker so he has more energy to go down the next rep. Notice Ryan also has a decent bend in the knee. That's just because that's where he feels the best hamstring stretch. Sometimes people are so focused on keeping a straight knee because they maybe saw somebody else do it who's really flexible, but you'll tend to feel, most people will feel in the back of the knee. That's actually not your hamstring. It's more of a sciatic nerve of the popliteus. We don't want that, at least not for this application. And you do as many reps as you feel like you need to kind of prime that tissue. You could also try doing it with a different bias of internal, external rotation too. If it looks on the surface, we haven't done a lot of intense stuff, but Ryan is sweating up a storm. But it's because Ryan's able to really tune up his nervous system to create a great stimulus. Same thing here, Ryan, when you're ready, go ahead and do a pails.
Back out so I don't shake as much.
What are you saying?
I just said back out so I don't.
Yeah. Ryan sometimes whispers to himself and stretches. I usually don't ask him, but since you're here. Good. And when you're done with that stimulus, I'll hand you. Give me this one first. I'll take the stick after. With eccentrics, right, again, I told you, I'm not concerned necessarily about how long he's taking to get down there. I just want him to consciously control himself down, right? And use that extra 50 pounds as a way to put more mechanical stress on that tissue at length. Because in just a little bit, we're gonna be doing that fast. So I want to do it slow with control before we actually add in more speed.
Oh, that's way more than
You like that, right?
Outer ham.
So he just externally rotated, right, and got a little more outer ham as well. Just different. And you should always change your sets up a little bit, right? Because you are a three-dimensional complex system, right? And your sets shouldn't always be linear because you're not linear, right? Hip flexion can also happen at different angles of rotating the femur as well as also moving, abducting or adducting the femur too. How you feel?
Good.
Okay. What we're attempting to do here is we're gonna have the band pull Ryan into hip flexion at a very fast pace, and I want him to be able to catch that at the end. What I mean by catch is stop that momentum and develop the brakes to be able to absorb the load, right? Which is what we want when we're running, right? That's one of the demands that happens to our hamstrings when you run. So hopefully your training is mimicking the demands that your activity demands. Your goal is to try to keep your spine stable as much as you can. You'll basically kick up, we'll go slow, and you'll let the band pull you into hip flexion. At the last second, you're gonna try to keep, axial kick down and hold that hip flexion as much as you can. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so using the ham to stop the brakes.
Yep.
At length.
Yeah.
Are we going like straight knee, lock knee?
As much as you can, your goal, that's a great question. Whatever helps you target this stuff the most. Yeah, just take your time, okay? This is, so as when somebody's doing something new, I have to kind of feel it out.
Gotta keep my trunk stable.
Yeah. So for Ryan here, what we want him to do is position his body in such a way that he's gonna funnel that energy into his hamstring. I don't wanna see excessive motion in the spine. I don't want to see him overly bend his knee. I want to see all that force happen and then he's able to hit the brake, right? So it may look like the band's just pulling him passively. It's actually not. He's trying to catch it here. He's trying to stop the band by using the hamstring. How's that feeling?
Good. It's just like, the stability's challenging me.
Yeah. There you go. I actually also found it helpful to bend this knee and just kind of keep it like, kind of like a glute bridge, like this there. Oh, okay. This is like one less constraint I can put on the system. Now, actively kick forward. There you go.
Keep my lumbar on the ground.
Yep.
It's slow as shit.
Generally with the power stuff, we'll keep it at like that 4 to 6 range, whenever it starts to look, we want to stop before it starts to look slow. Because he's just figuring this out, he's going to have a couple more reps on the first set.
Slows down.
It's okay. We started doing more dynamic effort stuff with Ryan about 3 or 4 months ago, and it definitely felt stiff and slower for him, and he just progresses because he's getting used to it, and now it's way faster. And I anticipate that the next couple sets are going to feel better for him as he starts to attune to what we want. Kick forward, actively kick. There you go. So you want to actively kick, almost feel like you're kind of going limp halfway through it, and then turn the brakes on. Ryan's a baseball guy, so I could use now. Think of like a pitcher, right? They don't try to throw as hard as they can because they're going to be too slow. They try, yes, there you go. They want that 80% effort where you're fast but still loose enough to be as fast as you can. There you go, one more. Nice job. It's going to feel even actually easier if I give you another band. No, he has to be rigid enough so he doesn't move his spine, but he needs to be loose enough that he actually allows the limb to go fast. So this is where the art of isolating and tissue specific training is because I want I want him to feel a super stretch on that hamstring.
Curious how this one's gonna go through the spine. Here we go.
Good. And you can let this knee bend a little bit because that'll put less restraint. There it is. Don't overthink it. Just find that nice middle ground. You're doing great. Get yourself 2 more. Better. More explosiveness. Okay. Go down here. Good. It's like a catapult. Let it go. There it is. Nice job. Quick. That's it. Yes. Better. Good. You feel the stretch there?
Yeah.
Like a hyper stretch in your hamstrings? That's what you want. Good job. And on a good note for the brain. That was a good rep. We've got double Ryan.
Oh, yeah.
So, what I'm going to do with Ryan is I'm going to have him passively go somewhere and he's going to be relaxed. I'm holding on to the band. Then I let go and he has to try to maintain the angle he has. So he doesn't want to let the band win and go out here. What this is going to do is teach his hamstring and his nervous system to fire his hamstring. It basically generates stiffness at different angles of the joint. All right, so here, you hold that relaxed, like just like that, okay? Ready? I'm going to count down. 1, 2, 3. Hold. Good. Okay, relax. 1, 2, 3. Good. 1, 2, 3.
Well, I tried to anticipate that one, yeah.
It's okay. 2 more. 1, 2, 3. Good. Relax. 1, 2, 3. All right, here we go. We're going to the other side. So Ryan, same thing. Find that like kind of 90-degree bend. Okay. Stay relaxed with it. Go ahead. A little bit more. Hold that. Relaxed. And 1, 2, 3. Good. Relax. Good. 1, 2, 3. Good. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Nice job. All right, we got 1 more set on the other side. This time, I'm not going to give him a countdown.
Yeah, no countdown.
No countdown. Okay? But I want him to stay relaxed. I just don't want him to tense up his knee the whole time. I want him to stay relaxed. As soon as he feels tension, he's going to grab it. Now you will see that the angle will change. Last set, he did a really good job because he was expecting it, of maintaining that joint angle. You may actually lose a little bit there. You ready? Mm-hmm. Woo! Honey baked ham, here we go. Good. So you catch it now. Here we go. 2 more. Last one. Nice job. This type of training, right, is because it's going to be more of a dynamic effort base. There's going to be less like overall fatigue. We didn't do sets to failure. Obviously, you're sweating, you're a little tired, but you probably feel a little more fresh than some of the other sessions we do.
Hell yeah.
Where you're like, oh my God, I can't believe we did that to failure.
Yeah.
So I thank you all for, if you made it this long in the video and the workout, thank you all. Appreciate it, Ryan. Appreciate you, man.
Cool, good stuff. Thank you, guys.
My favorite person to train. And hopefully we'll see you in the next one.
Oh, what a toy.